Hey y'all, welcome to the Chalant podcast where we are raw, unfiltered, unhinged, and never nonchalant. If you have questions about anything we talk about, slide in the DMs at the Chalant podcast on Instagram and TikTok, or subscribe at patreon.com/the Chalant podcast. Now to the episode. Hello, what's up y'all? We are back. It's been so long since Megan and I have recorded together. I know we're just releasing episodes that we recorded together, but guess what? They're from months ago because I had a crush out.
Yeah, we all love a good crash out,
and the information is the information no matter when you get it. So.
Yeah, it's a little bit funny hearing them back. Like we just released one yesterday. Today is December 12th, and the one that we released, I think we recorded it the day that I went to Atlanta for the first time. So it was like either the last day of July or it was like the end of July. And I'm like, I haven't listened to it yet, but I'm like, I don't even remember what I said. And then I know we recorded other ones, and I was trying to remember this morning what they were even about. And I can't. I'm just like, I remember that I have a blue shirt on in one of them and my purple shirt in the other one.
I know, it's so funny. I'm like, wow, I'm really sweating in that video. It was 1,000,000 degrees in here.
That's why I wasn't wearing pants.
Listen, really Megan, you gave the people what they wanted.
True.
So we wanted to do a little recap of the year. And you said something the other day, Meg, maybe it was last night, about 20-year-old you going to bed on December 31st and being like, and tomorrow I will be so different for the whole year.
Yes, starting tomorrow, I will be a different person.
And that cracked me up. Because I kind of have feelings about doing a recap of the year because I so don't really believe in New Year in the way that societally we approach it, which is that it's like, oh, I'm going to write down all these things I'm going to do. And then I'm going to hold myself to them. And then I'm going to hate myself for not achieving them and then go get wasted at the end of January because I already fell off on all of the things that I told myself I was going to do. And I just don't think that's a healthy way to go through life.
Yeah. And I mean, just for context, to make this even funnier for all of you, I was using it as a metaphor to explain a man who is in a woman I know's life, who is making all these promises that he's going to change. It's like, he sounds like me at 19 on December 31st. Yeah, no, starting tomorrow.
I will be
I will never eat a carb again. And I will read 100 books a week. And I'm going to work out all the time until I'm really skinny.
Yeah, that was me. I'm going to work out for 2 hours a day, 6 days a week.
Eat 1,200 calories.
Yeah. For what? Stop it. Stop that. So I sort of
that space.
What?
I said the fact, well, and this is me around the analogy of the guy. I was like, the fact that you're in that space tells us you have no idea what you're even getting into.
You really just don't even know what it takes to change. You don't even know.
No clue.
Empty fucking promises. We all know an empty promise.
Yeah.
God, my hair's killing me today.
I think it looks great.
Thank you. It just is it's weird. It's sitting weird. It's not curling the way that it normally nicely ringlets.
Yeah.
And it's kind of crunchy. And it's just, I don't know. It's not sitting the way I want it to. Just kidding. I mean, I don't know why I'm not kidding about that. I feel nervous. Why do I feel nervous right now? I'm babbling. Are you going to answer my question?
Not with anything helpful. Something dumb.
Welcome to our relationship.
I'm so pretty.
Yes, Megan. I haven't properly seen your face in a minute.
My hair's also crazy.
This is the recap of 2025, you guys.
This is it. I was like, I want to look really nice for this one. And I want to really get centered and properly reflect on my year before we get on this call and get really regulated. And I didn't do any of that. I did brief mini versions of these things, and I don't feel and I'm showing up anyway, and I'm not trying to pretend like I did that, and I don't hate myself. So actually, that is the recap of 2025.
That is the recap of 2025.
Growth right there. So I will take it.
But that really is, it's everything that's being reflected in this very moment is actually a reflection of all of 2025.
Yeah.
And I mean, even me being I just feel like I'm rambling. I don't know what to do. Is me being more in my body. and me not trying to be perfect and not, it's me actually just like feeling my feelings. And they feel crazy right now. They feel really, I'm like doing scary things, which I feel like I'm always kind of doing scary things because I like to deal with them as they come up. But I'm doing them in a much kinder way than I used to. Let me tell you.
Mm-hmm.
I caught myself last night when we were talking about everything going on in my life that I did not even bring out the nasty tone to myself once. Did you notice that?
I did.
You
Now that you
did?
say it. Now that you say it. I'm like, oh yeah.
Oh, thanks. Yeah. No, I'm like really have worked on. I mean, that's the funny thing about listening to those old episodes and like creating them, not recreating them, editing them to put out now. It's so crazy just in the last few months how much I've changed. And listening to myself back, I'm like, oh my God, my tone when I talk to myself is a tone I don't use with anybody else ever. And I didn't even catch it until I listened
Yep.
to it back. And there was a piece of me that was like, oh my God, I don't want to put this episode out. Like, I don't want that to be what I'm contributing to the world. Like, don't
Mm.
learn from that part.
Yeah.
But that's a part of the 2025 recap. So I am
Yeah.
so much nicer to myself.
Okay, so let's use some prompts.
Okay.
Okay.
Prompt me, baby.
So give us a brief summary, Alethea. What were your biggest accomplishments and wins this year?
You want to know what my first win that I want to talk about is
Mm-hmm.
that when I went to write out, as I've been, we said we were going to do this. So I've just kept a note on my phone of things that I wanted to add, and they've all been wins. And that's a
Uh-huh.
win in itself.
Yeah.
That like we're going to bring in win of the week into this podcast. And we're going to start, I think, start or end every podcast. Maybe start it because that's a nice way to start with a win of the week because it's so important. There was so long in my life that I would just be on to the next thing. I never stopped to celebrate. I never stopped to see myself. I mean, I just did an episode on this where like I crash out because I don't stop to support myself in this new space and go, wait, you're in a new space. Like this is huge.
Mm.
Um, so that's really cool. And okay, recap of the year. We're doing just the wins right now.
Yeah, wins are like
Um,
accomplishments. Like what are things you set out to do that you actually did? Like what are things you did that you're
Started
proud
this
of?
motherfucking podcast.
Yes.
This is like maybe the biggest thing I've ever done in my life. We know that my patterning is like my biggest fear is being seen for
Hmm.
myself. The another huge fear that I stepped through was doing something alone, which I
Mm.
know you've come on to do episodes, but
Yeah.
me taking full ownership and just saying I'm starting something by myself with no partner, no one to hide behind, no one to fall back on. Those were kind of my two like huge blocks with this that I moved through. What else have I accomplished? I make more money than I've ever made in my life right now, which is, just and consistently. And I'm
Hmm.
saving it in a way that I never have before. Feeling empowered enough to be able to save a lot of it and not feel like I'm missing out and not feel like there's something missing from my life that I need to invest in. Honestly, there are little big things like standing up for myself. Now, when somebody is a dick to me, I don't shrink anymore. I immediately just dish it back. And I'm like, fuck you, don't stop.
Yeah.
This is bullshit. Like, I don't panic anymore. I don't go into fight or flight. I'm just like, don't treat me like that. Fuck you.
Hmm.
Um, so that's really exciting. I think a really big thing, I just looked over my list and forgot that I put this on there, that I think a really big thing is also I started the job I'm in right now. I started at the beginning of this year and I was in such a different place with it. I have really started to see, I used to really judge myself about the people that were surrounding me. Like, if I think there are assholes around me, then there must be something wrong with me because I'm still attracting that and other people attract nice people into their lives. So I'm still broken if this is what surrounds me. And now I see it. I've started to see it as these are the places I can make the biggest difference. Like this is that place has changed so much because I've been there.
Yeah.
And not because I've gone in and tried to save everybody, not because I've gone in really specifically trying to change it, but in doing my own thing, in growing in myself, asking for my needs to be met, offering my wisdom in moments when it's necessary. I have watched everybody around me change, and the culture in that place gets so much better. So
Pretty
that's
cool.
cool as fuck. Yeah,
Pretty
that's
cool.
super cool. I think that's a really, I mean, hence this podcast, it's a really big part of my purpose, my life mission. And if I didn't believe that I could do that on a small scale, like I didn't see myself as, I don't want to say powerful enough, but
It's like
it,
fully having agency.
no, it like sort of just by existing that things could change around me.
Mm.
You know what I mean? I've always felt like it's like if I'm teaching, I'm like changing something in the moment because I'm teaching and I'm doing something.
Right.
But
So
that just by my
you have like a better sense of your impact now, just from being.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, just from being like I don't have to do anything. All I have to do is exist in that place.
Hmm.
And there's more safety, or people feel more at ease, or people are being more open about their feelings. People are communicating better. People have started looking at themselves more and really making changes in themselves because
Hmm.
of things that I've said or pointed out, or in, again, like not because I pointed them out to them to change them, but in just setting my own boundaries and saying, hey, this isn't something I accept, or this is how this behavior is making me feel.
Hmm.
They've gone and done their own work, which is to me the coolest thing in the world.
Very
So I think
cool.
those are probably my biggest accomplishments, I would say.
Okay.
I also
Um,
I also made my New York City debut singing twice, and there will be so much more of that to come.
Yay.
And
Love
I'm
that.
not nervous anymore. I don't get nervous to sing in front of people. That's fucking
That's
crazy.
huge for you.
And I was realizing last night something that I'm really bringing into 2026 is, we've talked about before, Meg, that you can kind of be your own expander, where it's like I was looking at the podcast and going, well, it's just New York. In the way that the process happened for me to come back to New York, it was like, okay, so if that's an inevitable thing, I just have to work through what I have to work through in order to get to the place where it works.
Right.
So now I'm looking at singing and not being nervous to be in front of people singing. And I'm going to bring that into relationships in 2026, like romantic relationships. It's like, okay, right now, it terrifies me. Right now, the nervous system is off the charts. But I know that I've done this before. And all I have to do is keep creating safety. All I have to do is deal with the things that come up in the moment. And then eventually, being in a really healthy, secure relationship is going to feel the same way as singing feels now.
Mm.
So that's also a massive accomplishment. I don't know if I've ever talked about, I think I've talked about that on here probably, but that, like, for me, singing is my first love. Singing has always been my biggest love. And it's
Hmm.
been the thing that I've done the least or only done in my bedroom because
Yeah.
I have had the most unbelievable stage fright, like leave my body, black out, my whole nervous system like flushes, and I can't, it's like I'm shaking so hard, I don't even know where I am. So it's pretty impossible to sing with a band in front of people while that's happening. So I just didn't do it. Or I would like really push myself to do it, but I could only do it like once every blue moon. And it was so exhausting. But it's one of those things that, just like relationships, I'm staring this in the face right now. And we'll get more into this when we talk about what's coming, but that I'm feeling the same way about it. I'm starting to see the parallels around, okay, if singing is the thing that I love to do the most, and being at a concert is my favorite place to be, and being in the middle of making music is my favorite thing to do, the fear that's around it is just that. It's just fear. And it doesn't mean I shouldn't do it. And it's the same with relationships. It's like the thing my heart is longing for more than anything else in the world is companionship and intimacy.
Yeah.
It's not something that I can ignore anymore. Right. When we first started manifestation work, when we first started this crazy fucking journey, the two things that screamed at me were singing and New York. And
Hmm.
I wouldn't look at either of them. I was
Yeah.
like, nope, we're not touching that. No, thank you. I'll just go hang out with my inner child and be mad at my dad. Like
Yeah.
I was like,
Yeah.
we don't need that. We don't need that in our lives. Like we can exist over here and be totally fine, get everything we want over here.
Yeah.
Wrong.
And isn't that so interesting? Because it's like, if you don't mind me speaking
Yeah,
to
yeah, please.
like observing you in this way a little bit, it's like in a general sense, the things you were comfortable with looking at the start were the things where it was like really obvious that you were a victim, you
Mm-hmm.
know? Versus the things
Mm-hmm.
you didn't want to look at were like, where am I a victim to myself? Where am I not stepping up? Where do I have feelings because I'm doing me wrong as opposed to someone else is doing me wrong?
100%. And I'm so glad you said that because
You
that's
got to
something I
start somewhere.
really,
Like, I
yeah.
think that's
Well,
very,
of
I mean,
course,
I
of
feel like that's where
course.
I started too.
I think we all do. We
Yeah.
all, our inner children are bruised and broken and they need to be
Actually,
seen.
I started completely delusional and didn't think that I had any. I was like,
Yeah, you
no
thought
one's
you had
ever
a
been mean to
perfect
me.
childhood.
Yeah, I was like, high school was amazing. My childhood was perfect. No one's ever been mean to me in my life. My life is perfect, except that I
And
hate
then
other
she would
people.
like tell me stories about high school and I would be like, Megan, that's like not okay, right?
You know, that's like actually super fucked up, right?
Yeah, like
Like, no,
super
it was
fucked up.
funny. Anyway, so I was a little step
Sure.
behind when I started from where you were, but I got there eventually.
Just a different step. I wouldn't say behind. We've just come to it in our own ways. We're so different
Mhm.
in that way.
Yeah.
But something that I when we get again, like when we get into the what's coming in 2026, um, that's the biggest piece of it for me is getting out of that place of blaming everybody else and doing the quote unquote healing that blames everybody else for making me a victim
Mm.
and where as I was writing my manifestation list for 2026, it was so interesting the way I approach it now. That's so different, which we'll get into. But yeah, so I think, I mean, I don't know. Can you think of any accomplishments outside of that were big
I
this
mean, I
year?
think you hit the big ones.
Yeah.
Yeah. I am curious what you would say, and we'll use this word lightly, but like, what were your failures this year? Like, what were your opportunities that, like, looking back, you missed that you learned from?
I mean,
Because it's
this
like,
whole year felt like that.
okay,
This whole year felt like that in a big way.
but what was
And it
like the
wasn't
theme or maybe the repetitive?
Yeah, yeah, 100%. It wasn't necessarily even things, I mean, obviously I was still failing at them because I needed to look at them. But I mean, we know that in the death of my like childhood love,
Mm.
I really, really, really had to look at everywhere that I was not loving, that I was not allowing myself to love. I feel like this whole year was sort of taken over by that, even though we're talking about, I mean, yes, there were so many accomplishments and so much beauty. And behind all of those accomplishments, behind all of those kind of external things, I was in my room crying most of the time. Most days, there was some sort of sob fest of looking at, and it goes back to what you said about getting out of that victim space
Mhm.
where, I had so much anger. And, to the point where I had like fully cut this person out of my life completely, even when they tried to make amends. And having to go back and look at the way I created everything. I mean, yes, it takes two, but knowing that the way I'm being treated is just a reflection of my own shit, I have failed a lot of people. And I have failed myself in a big way where I have been so mad and so protective over myself, so angry that people didn't treat me a certain way or choose me and I have spent a lot of time this year looking at how I created that. And I mean, and that permeated into like I talk about the dynamics at work. And that also permeates into all the ways that I had to look at it and go, and how am I creating this as well? How am I being really closed off so they don't want to say hi when I come in?
Mm.
How am I contributing in all the ways that I'm upset with other people for treating me a certain way? Like, where am I doing that? And so, I said as part of my accomplishments, being able to see that when I'm in a space, I can make change because of doing my own work. But in that, you have to look at all the places you're quote unquote failing,
Mm.
all the places that you're not meeting your quota of what you want from
Yeah.
others or from your own life.
Hmm.
Like that was a thing I was really angry at as well. I didn't think I'd be doing that job at this time in my life. So I went in there angry. And then I was
Yeah.
mad that everybody around me was angry.
Hmm.
I think this year, and maybe you can speak to this from the external of observing, but I want to say that this year was the most full year of me looking at the hardest things in myself.
Yeah.
That it was stepping into that adulthood place of, okay, I can't blame anybody else anymore. There's no more healing to do in that way where I get to just scream and cry at everyone else in my
Hmm.
head. Of course, there's always, there are always things to heal it and whatnot, but doing it from that place of being the adult fully and being able to step into, okay, where did I contribute to this? I mean, not little things, big things like the person I spoke about who passed this year. One of the things that I was the most angry at him about, we're kids. We did some stupid shit. We were in high school. I was so mad that you know, things happened with us and then he went back to his girlfriend.
Mm.
And I had this moment not too long ago where I was in the middle of an integration and I got this whole vision of that night and everything that happened. And for the first time, I went back to my boyfriend first. I did that first. He opened up to me and told me that he loved me and I was it for him. And I said nothing.
Mm.
And then immediately said, and no one can ever know about this because I'm dating someone else. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like crazy how you remember it generally versus when you actually like sit with yourself. And you're
That
like,
it
oh
wasn't
yeah.
available to me before now. Like, yeah, I mean, days later, I was like, I changed my mind. I want you. And he was like, I don't know.
Yeah.
And that's the
Right.
part that I was mad at him about.
And that's what you remember. It's like, wow, well, he didn't
Yeah,
even want me, but you're not remembering like how you would have made, you didn't have the capacity at the time to know really like how you were making him feel, how your
exactly.
actions, it's like, yeah, not being able to see how I'm hurting you. All I see is how I'm being hurt.
Yeah, exactly. That victim space of this is all your
Mhm.
fault.
Yeah.
And those have been the toughest things to look at. I mean, the amount of grief that has moved through my body this year is like so huge. Even though the years prior, as we've been doing this work, I have allowed all the grief of like my childhood and all those things to move through. The grief of betraying yourself in that way and understanding how you have betrayed others is so much harder.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's interesting that like this is what you brought up around failures because I think it's such a good like it's perfect to explain that, when we talk about okay, what were my failures? And I said or, missed opportunities, it's like there's no such thing really as failure.
No,
Right. It's like we sometimes things don't go the way we want or we don't show up the way that we want. Okay. And it's important to acknowledge that. But it's like, if you were 100% ready, then it wouldn't have gone that way. You
exactly.
would have showed up how you wanted. And so it's like the process of acknowledging, oh, like I failed back then. And now I'm grieving that. And now I'm really going to let myself see that and move through it so that I don't repeat that pattern. Like, that's not a failure at all. That's a huge
No.
accomplishment, really. But it's important for us to look at things through, to ask ourselves those types of questions so we think of the stuff that were really like, the things that were really sticky and hard this year.
Yeah. Yeah. I think maybe a better word is like the biggest challenges
Yeah.
that, yeah, being able to, and And being able to process all of that, not from a place of self-hatred.
Yes.
Like there's a big difference in beating yourself up and going, well, I really fucked that up. Like I'm stupid, whatever you're going to say to yourself, and allowing yourself to just feel how gross, horrible, whatever it is, it feels to really look at that
Yeah.
and really feel through like, ooh, I really messed up. And I really wish I could do that over. Or I think the universe brought, I'm going to be careful how I speak about this because obviously, like, it's not about me. What happened in his life this year was not about me. The
But
way
how you
that,
feel about it is about you.
yeah, the way that I feel about it, it's like I needed to get rock bottomed in a way where I can't ever make that better. He's not here anymore. I can't, there's no way for me to go back and change that.
Yeah. I mean, it gives you the opportunity to be like, okay, and so where do I go from here?
Exactly. Like
To
it's like
actually,
for me to actually look at it. The universe tried to make me look at it a year and a half ago. And I went, nah. Like she was throwing me all the signs and I went, nah, I'm not doing it. And it took for him to be gone, for it to feel so immediate that I had to look at it and for me to be able to go, I'm never going to do this again. I'm committing to doing whatever I have to do, what at the hardest things. And I'm like in the middle of doing it right now, which we'll get to. That I have an opportunity right now for a do-over with someone else who used to be in my life who's come back. And it is challenging the fuck out of me. But there is no world in which I don't show up for them because I don't ever want to feel this again. And I don't ever want to make somebody else, I don't ever want to have that impact on somebody else
mm,
where I'm allowing my shit to impact somebody else negatively in that way. I don't want to be hurting people if there's anything I can do about it.
mhm.
And so I'm getting this beautiful, beautiful opportunity right now with another person in my life who I have always, as an adult, gone, wow, I really wish I could do that over. Like I didn't see what was there. I didn't see the love. I didn't know how to receive it. I didn't know how to let it be there. I saw it and I went, fuck that. See ya.
Yeah.
I don't know how to hold this.
Mm.
And, you know, there's another death in my family recently of one of my most favorite people in the world. But grieving these two feels so different because one of them I loved freely. There was nothing I would take back. And so I'm so unbelievably sad he's gone. But I feel I have no regrets. And so looking at those two things, looking at the way both of these things have felt, and it's like, of course, somebody leaving is never a gift, but the gift that I got from this family member passing is this understanding of, and this is what it can feel like, that there's only love there and there's no regret. And how do I honor both of them?
Mhm.
So that's been my big, I didn't think I was going to cry today. Um,
Me neither. I can't stop yawning. My
that's,
nervous system's trying to regulate itself.
yeah, that's been that's been the overarching theme of the year has been relationships and how I'm showing up in them and how I can soften and how I can bring the walls down. Um, and that's really what I'm bringing in to 2026.
Whoa.
Let's flip it to you a little, yeah?
Okay.
Okay, Megan's in the hot seat. All right,
Yep.
boom. Your biggest accomplishments. You have so many. I'm so excited for you to talk about all of them.
Yeah, this has been like the year of me for me. And I feel like the next year will be the year of me again, but like way better. Where like so much of the bullshit has been worked through and we can finally just be like stepping in, you know?
I feel the
Yeah,
same.
so my big wins this year, accomplishments, I mean, I finally started working as a chiropractor, which is like, kind of intuitive after you finish that program. But like for me, it was a huge accomplishment because it has taken me forever. Like I had been out of school for 4 years when I finally like got going with it. And I mean, I had some very considerable, roadblocks to get there that most
Yeah.
people don't. So, it's not like I just sat around for 4 years like, oh, I wonder when I'll be a chiropractor. Like, there were serious considerations, but
Can I
I
quickly tell
finally did
you
it.
a story that's
Yeah.
about you and this?
Oh, I am scared.
I
Okay.
forgot to tell you. No, it's so good. It's so good. I was in my at my network appointment this
hmm
week, and the girl next to me, it was her first time.
hmm
And I was like, ooh, I feel really high. And she was like, me too. So we like got to chatting outside. She was asking me questions about how to, and I explained to her that I was like, also, my best friend does this. And so I have a little bit more knowledge than like the normal person because she talks about it. And she goes, oh my God, that's so cool. I was gonna go to school to like be a chiropractor and do this too, but then it was just too much. So I'm becoming a Pilates instructor. I was like, honestly,
I
basically
mean,
like
listen, it's true.
3.
Very, very different levels of commitment there. Like,
It
jump.
was the cutest thing. She was so sweet.
That's so
But just
sweet.
to put in perspective for you, like
Yeah, that it's like, oh my God, yeah, that'd be so cool. But then when you actually look at what you have to do to get there, it's like
it's huge.
huge. And then you get a
Huge, huge, huge.
pandemic and you get boards canceled and you get a quarter life crisis and every door closing and then you get hit by a car and it's just like,
Yeah.
but something that, excuse me, I might be coughing a lot today because I had a really full day with patients yesterday. And so I
Woo!
talked a lot. And by the end of the day, my throat was
Mm.
like very dry. But something that my, well, our mentor slash my therapist told me is that I needed to go through everything that I went through so that I could really be used. She was like, now that you've been through everything that you needed to go through to get here, you can actually be used. Like you can actually enter this profession from a place of not being in your ego and being like wanting to serve these
Mhm.
people and actually being inspired to show up as the best that you can, like for the world.
Mhm.
And like I'm gonna have the biggest impact because of how I came to this. Because
Yeah.
now the way that I do it is so different than it would have been if I had started 4 years ago. So different.
Like, I mean, just having known you for what is it, 3 years now, 4 years now,
Yeah, four
whatever it
years
is,
almost.
you are a completely different person.
Yeah, we talked about that too. She's like night and day, even just this year.
Yeah. I mean, yes, just this year, but like laying
Yeah.
the groundwork. I mean, like you said, you started in Delulu land of like, I'm perfect. Everything's perfect. Nothing's ever been bad in my life to now being really in a space
I just
where,
have unlimited health problems and insufferable anxiety for no reason. Just my lot in life. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, and you were also so in a place, like we've talked about this a lot, that you were when we first met, the only thing you talked about was childhood. Was like you were stuck
Yeah.
being
Well, and
16
it was
and
like
you just couldn't get past that.
I had just come when I met you. I was finally allowing myself to do what I wanted to do when I was 16. And then all this stuff happened that like totally got me in my shadow about it and caused me to like just close off the part of myself that did acting and theater and music. And I just didn't do any of that for like 8 years and was like, I'm doing science now and went to school. And so it's like, I don't think I really talked about high school that much when I was like in chiropractic school, when I was in university, maybe a
Hmm.
bit. But like when I came back here and was like, okay, I'm gonna get back into acting. I finally admit to myself and the people around me that this has always been like a dream for me and something I've really wanted to do. Then it's like I kind of got launched back into that spot where all that, like
Hmm.
now I can look back and I can see like all that stuff from my childhood and from high school was coming back up and I was remembering it. And I was refeeling it because I was finally allowing myself to engage with that part of myself that I totally shut off at that age.
Hmm.
It's like I had to go back in time to get back to here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it just illustrates really how far you've come. I mean, we talked about me being sort of going from victim child to being the adult.
Hmm.
And it's you've just done the exact same thing.
Yeah. Yeah. And it took me a while to get into my anger and to actually be able to see the places where I was wronged and to get
Hmm.
upset about that and to have my feelings about that and to make changes to not allow that to continue happening. And then there was the next step of like, okay, and now I'm taking responsibility for the places that I'm doing those things to myself, which is really
Yeah.
why I allow other people to treat me that way. And realizing how much of it actually, I was being toxic too. It takes two to tango, and any toxic dynamic, even if I'm playing the victim, like
Hmm. You're still a part of it.
I'm part of it, and so that's been the
Yeah.
next step. But anyway, got into a little rant there. My
Yeah.
accomplishments from this year, definitely starting my practice. And then another huge accomplishment. So I got a job as an associate at an office. So I'm doing that a few days a week, and then I'm at my own practice a few days a week. Um, and so the practice is one technique, and the associateship, I'm back to doing like manual adjusting type chiropractic, which I really haven't done much at all, like since 2021.
Hmm.
Like I haven't done consistently since the end of 2021, probably like when I moved here. And that for me was a lot to move through of like just feeling not good enough and having to like practice and get back into it. I mean, it's still like a challenge. It maybe sounds silly, but to me, that was a huge block. And
I don't
it's
think that
been
does sound silly. I mean, for you to have been in the place that you were with the shame that you had around not like
like not
immediately going
performing.
in, yeah, not immediately getting a job out of school and not having done your boards and all that stuff to, I mean, one, opening your own practice, which has its own set of absolute terror.
Yeah.
Can I do this? Am I going to get patients? All those things.
Yeah.
You also then stepped through this massive fear of what other people would think of your story
Hmm.
by putting yourself out there saying, hey, I also want to get a part-time job in someone else's business.
Yeah.
That whole experience you had in what did you interview at like 19 places?
Like
Something
7 or something.
ridiculous.
I don't know. It was like
Oh,
between 5 and 10.
I thought it
Yeah.
was way more than that.
No,
Um,
but I got interviews everywhere I applied,
yeah, like and you had to
and
go to
like all
each
of
one
them
and
offered
you,
me the job.
yeah,
So
yeah.
it's like,
But here, like I love this example of like the life kind of working this way. It's like, yeah, you got offered the job at every single place, but that didn't make it easier for you necessarily.
yeah,
You were still, I mean, it was a huge, huge experience for you to go through to go and tell your story over and over and face all of those fears and then face the fear of which one's the right one. And like, it doesn't sound silly at all to me.
yeah. Well, and even it's just there's so many parts of it, right? There's the
Yeah.
macro thing of my story of being afraid of being judged, of being totally myself. And then there's just every little thing, right? Like you're saying with starting your own business, every little step, getting my boards done, getting my like business license, getting incorporated, getting like, and then moving into this new practice and being like, okay, now I'm going to manually adjust people. And I just have to, there was this thing that I had been sort of avoiding, like it had been really convenient for me every time it got taken away was manual adjusting because
Hmm.
when I first got into clinic, I was starting to see a lot of people and I was getting pretty good at it and consistent. And I always felt like I wasn't good enough in that way. And I went to so many seminars and I trained so much. Like I was really overcompensating because I just felt like there was something wrong with me that I like couldn't do this thing and this thing is the whole point of my profession and like it's the most important part of my job. I need to be good at it. And anyway, and I think like I had a big mental block that made it a lot harder for me to just like do it and get good at it because I attached so much to this
Hmm.
act of like adjusting someone.
Hmm.
And so every time that I would, set up to do an adjustment and put a thrust in, and there would be like no cavitation, or it wouldn't, I mean, there isn't always a cavitation with an adjustment, but like often it really doesn't feel as good for the patient too. Like if there's not that follow through, it was like this huge feeling of failure would wash over me immediately. And I'd be like, and put the head down and cool, I failed again. Like, and I'd be like panic and be like, okay, how can I like make this up to them? And then I start getting really sweaty and I'm like trying, and then nothing works. And I'm like, I just feel like this person came in and I made them even worse. Bye. Like, you know,
Yeah.
when in reality, it's like it was just all so in my head. And
Hmm.
so get coming into it's like I got into practice and then COVID happened. So a bunch of my patients left, and the only ones that stayed, I got really good at adjusting those like five bodies, but then not better at adjusting anyone else. And then I had an internship, but it fell through because of COVID. And then my boards got canceled, so I couldn't practice. And then I finally got back
Hmm.
into practice, but I got really into this other technique that doesn't involve that type of adjusting. And so it's like convenient thing after convenient thing happened that allowed me to avoid this thing that made me feel like a huge failure. And getting back into this job, I was like, you know, it was important to the chiropractor that I adjust in a somewhat similar way to him so we can share patients or cover each
Hmm.
other.
Hmm.
And I was like, no, I want to get back into it. I do. And I'm scared. And it's like I've had to, but it's like I've had to really just confront it in the sense of like every day going to work and being like, I'm just going to try my best. And
Hmm.
a lot of the time, it doesn't go how I want. And I've had to get like I'm like training myself by exposing myself repeatedly to being like, and that doesn't mean I'm a failure, you know? It's like,
Right.
that's like one of my hugest accomplishments from this year is not feeling like this huge failure every time I go to adjust someone and it doesn't work on the first try. My boss has been doing this for 25 years and he's like, listen, I miss adjustments all the time. It's not a big deal. Like you're
Yeah.
constantly working on new people. You have to get to know their bodies. Everybody's different. Some people just like are really hard to adjust and like you're just learning. Like you're just it's okay.
Yeah.
It's like I'm like, "Oh, I'm just attaching this whole like I'm a failure, everyone hates me thing to this that doesn't need to be there." Like
That just doesn't need, yeah.
it's just
I
also
mean,
like we have other
it's like
ways in the
Nian
office.
singing.
Like any time that I miss an adjustment, you know, I'll try like twice. If we don't get it, I'm like, okay, we're gonna do this another way. And I use like an instrument or something to finish what we're doing and clean it up.
Hmm.
And it's fine. Like I know those things work too.
Yeah.
It's just like,
Well, I mean, it's like anything you're ever gonna do. You know, as
yeah.
a teacher, when I'm working with a new student, I throw shit. I'm like, okay, try this, but
Mhm.
I don't know them yet. And so maybe that doesn't get me the result that I want or doesn't get the opening that I wanted. So then I throw something else at them.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's literally everything you ever do is going to be like that.
Yeah.
So it's like you said, it's what we attach to it that matters.
hmm Yeah. And I would say as my final huge accomplishment of the year, I got all of my network spinal courses in,
Yeah, you did.
finished that training, did pretty well with it, I think.
Uh-huh.
And I had to travel for every single one. I have been on, okay, I lost count, I forget, but I think I've been on like 24 planes this year or something. And for those of you who haven't heard this on the podcast before, like a year, like in July of 2024, I flew home and literally was having panic attack after panic attack after panic attack the whole time. I remember being on the phone with my boyfriend at the time before getting on the plane, and I was like I was at the gate, and I was like, I can't do this. Like I was like, how am I going to get myself on this plane? I can't. I'm like the most scared I've ever been in my life right now. Like I can't. Like it was so I was so terrified. And he was like, you really don't sound like yourself, right? Like, are you okay? Like he really noticed on the phone
Yeah.
that I sounded fucked, and I yeah, was like panic attack the whole every time the plane even slightly like just the whole time. Oop, panic attack instantly. Like that's how triggering that was for me
Hmm.
in July of 2024. It is December of
Yeah.
2025 and I've been on 24 planes this year and it's like I am such a master now.
You are.
It's not even like this trigger doesn't exist for me anymore. It's just like I'm not scared of it coming up because I know that I can
Hmm.
handle it because I've done it so many times now.
Hmm.
I'm like, "Oh, and the translation that has had into my life of like, "Oh, I'm panicking. Okay, well, I know how to deal with that."
Hmm.
Like, cool. I don't actually need to be panicking right now. I'm gonna like just get into my body. There, it's gone. Like, it's so empowering. Like that's the ultimate, like I'm not a victim anymore in something that I felt
Mm-hmm.
completely helpless to
Yeah.
not long ago.
Yeah.
Huge accomplishment.
Massive.
Huge. Massive. How like I feel like such a badass for that. Because how many people just like repetitively face the thing that they are the like that triggers them the most in life, but like
Mm-hmm.
not by pushing through it,
Right. So you
not by
worked with it.
re-traumatizing, but being like, I am have an open heart. I am allowing my feelings. I am listening to my body. I am being with it. I'm like with the panic because if I'm just with it and I let it happen, then it will move, like
Yeah.
that's hard.
Which also, I would say, if I may,
Yeah.
as the outside observer, being with your body and your feelings has been like the hardest thing for you.
Yeah.
And so for you to be able to be in your feelings at the time when they feel the absolute worst, that's actually a way bigger accomplishment.
Yeah.
Like the way that when we first started this work, like you couldn't touch your feelings whatsoever.
Yeah, no.
Like you just pass out. Like you just fall asleep.
Yeah. Every time
You
I
could
tried to do
not.
anything
Yeah.
somatic, anything getting into my feelings, I would literally either have like a crazy reaction in my body that like I just could not stay with
Yeah.
it, or I would fall asleep.
Yeah. Or like, yeah, you found every reason to never be with your feelings.
Yeah.
So to add that context, like that's crazy.
Yeah. Oh God, that poor girl.
I know.
She
When
was,
I think about us 3 years ago,
I'm like, I was in a relationship I didn't want to be in. Had no idea what I was doing with my life. I had no concept of how I was gonna survive financially. I
yeah.
had no ability to feel my feelings. I
Well,
like
and you didn't feel empowered enough in any way
to do it.
to do your finances at all. Like
Yeah.
you didn't think that you could live without the partner you had at the time.
Yeah,
Like fully.
that's crazy.
Didn't trust that you could even make it work.
Yeah.
And here you
Like,
are running your own whole practice.
yeah.
That's
Like
fucking
what? That's
crazy.
so crazy. Yeah.
Like it's not just the 2025 recap. It's like when we first met the people that we were, and that's not that long ago.
Yeah, like would I ever want to relive the last 5 years of my life?
Fuck no.
Hell no. Like
Not a little
5
bit.
years hard, but like so worth it.
That's the thing. I feel like we're both set up in this way now where, like we say, the work never really stops.
But it's just more
As long
intense
as,
when you
yeah, as long
start
as
and get
you're
into
as
it.
long as you're working towards something,
Yeah.
the work isn't gonna go away. But I feel like we are both set up in a place now where the kind of heaviest lifting is done because we've built our process now.
Hmm.
So it's like you said with flying, like now you just apply that to everything. Same with me with everything that's in my life right now. I'm like, oh, I've done this before.
Yeah.
So I have this trust, I have this foundation, I have the support in my life. So it all happens faster. And
Hmm.
yes, the hard feelings still feel hard, but we know what it feels like on the other side. And we know that on the other side, it feels incredible.
Yeah. And I mean, it's just like the difference of to go back to the example of adjusting patience and having it not go on the
Mm-hmm.
first try, whatever. The difference is between then immediately panic in my body, in my mind. I'm a failure. I feel really bad. This is what I expected. Rushing them out the door, not doing a good job because I'm so embarrassed, not asking for help, getting in my head, constantly anxious to go to work, anxious at work that this might happen, and then feeling like, maybe like going in all these rabbit holes of actually maybe this job is just isn't for me and like maybe I just need to do a different technique, work somewhere else, do something else with my life, like all these rabbit holes and side quests that are just me avoiding the fact that this makes me feel like a failure to now it's
Yeah.
like the same action, the same thing happens, and that trigger still comes in, and I'm able to just separate it from myself and be like,
Hmm.
oh, like, yeah. And so I just have to keep working through that feeling.
But yeah, it's like your version of what I was saying about understanding now that
I can still do everything.
when something's in my heart, I don't get to just pivot away from it anymore.
Yeah. No.
It's like, no, you love this. So just do what you got to do to have it in your life.
Yeah.
Easy. I mean, simple, not necessarily easy,
Simple.
but it's no longer, oh, well, maybe there's something else. Oh, well, maybe there's a way around it. It's like,
Yeah.
no, just go in.
Because like what's under that is the belief that I can't do this, that I'm a victim to the way I feel. And so there's no option of me just not feeling this way about the same thing. I have to get away from it,
Yeah.
you know? And
Yeah.
so that's the big, I mean, after, you know, working through so many panic attacks on planes to the point that it's like, oh, it just kind of starts and I'm able to be like, oh, you know, I predict that this will trigger it, so I'll do what I need to do to, you know, set myself up well. And then on the times that I
Hmm.
don't set myself up well, I'm like, oh, I feel a lot of panic this time. And I'm like, yeah, well, you know, I didn't set myself up very well. I went on my phone while we were boarding instead of like taking some breaths or
Hmm.
whatever. And like it translates so well to that moment because before that feeling of failure felt like something that I couldn't control, couldn't help, needed to get away from. But now when it comes up, it's like I've worked through so much worse
Hmm.
that I'm like, oh, this is nothing. I know, but like,
Hmm.
give me a month. Give me a
Yeah.
month. I just got to keep doing this. Okay, it doesn't feel great in the morning moment. Okay, what's the worst thing that could happen? They get really offended and never come back. Okay, like fine.
Yeah. I
Like,
was just having that thought this morning that
or
like
I have
I'm
to
in such a
admit to someone I'm not
funny,
perfect. Like, okay.
oh my God, I could
Uh,
never. That is actually one of my biggest blocks. It's really hard for me to admit that I'm not perfect. Anyway,
mhm.
I have this hilarious like I was chatting to someone the other day about dating and whatever and I was like, "Oh, I'm disorganized as fuck." Like my attachment
Mm.
is psychotic. And I realized this morning that both sides of my attachment are coming out in this moment where like I have this one person and it's like it all happened on the same night
Oh,
where
right.
these two people came into my life and one of them is showing up in this like incredibly secure, open, honest way and I'm like get me the fuck out of here. I don't want any of that.
Yes.
And then the other person is showing up in a totally avoidant, like kind of dropping a breadcrumb
Mhm.
way where I'm like, ah, like, why haven't you listened yet? Why aren't you doing this? I mean, I know enough to know, like, I've been doing this long enough now that, like you said, it's like if this person doesn't want to collaborate with me, this second person who's being avoidant, if they don't want to collaborate with me, like, I don't care. It's okay. I'm not going to
Mhm.
die. I have wonderful collaborators. I was just inspired by what they did and kind of have a crush. So was like, hey, let's get together. And it's totally okay if that doesn't happen.
Yeah.
That being said, I also know that I still have to sit down and look at the feelings or feel the feelings instead of just going, well, I don't care if they respond. Because I
Mm.
clearly do. Of course
Yeah.
I do. It was
Yeah.
something I wanted. I got inspired by something and I reached out and I put myself out there and I did something really vulnerable. I sent my original music to somebody
Yeah.
to see if they wanted to write with me. Like, that's a scary fucking thing to do. And when they don't respond for 3 days and then they tell you that they're listening now and then they don't respond, that's fucking scary. And it's like, okay, so these two things, I didn't realize that they were both kind of happening. It was like, right, because I'm disorganized. I have one of each in my life in this
Yeah.
moment.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
how am I going to work my way through, and the one on the other side who's showing up in this like beautiful, secure way where, this person feels like home. It feels so easy when I'm with them. I'm really having to check in with myself and go, no, you know that you want this. Like, you know what it feels like when you're actually there. It feels so good. It's when you leave that you can start to convince yourself that you actually don't need it and you don't want to do it again. Because that would mean intimacy and that would mean, showing up in a way that I have not shown up before.
Hmm.
Um, I don't remember why I started telling you this, but now I'm sweating.
I
So,
don't know. I don't know. We're talking about accomplishments.
okay, let's go
But
to
I
your
think
failures,
my failures, my
your
challenges this
challenges this
year.
year.
mean, I feel like I've come up against a lot of challenges around abandoning myself.
Hmm.
Um, in the way of like avoidance, and also in the form of avoidance of like putting my energy into something specific to like avoid looking at myself, like for someone specific. Because yeah, I feel
He
like
who shall not be named,
yes, the
the third star of this
infamous
podcast.
yes. But I feel like I'm doing so much better at that.
Yeah, you are.
Which I'll talk about. But yeah, it's like money has been a big thing for me. That's, been, I mean, clearly, as you mentioned, since I moved here has been this big, I didn't even think that I could possibly survive without my ex, like, which is crazy.
Yeah,
Like I'm an adult,
truly.
fully able to work. I mean, and I at the time didn't have my boards done, sure, but I was
You have
one
a whole
test away.
doctorate.
Yeah, I have a doctorate and one test away. Like, and I had a big line of credit from school that it's like could definitely pull me through until I finished that certification.
Yeah.
So like to be that much a victim about it, like I've come a long way, but this year I definitely feel the ways that I can see that my finances are messy and I'm just like not doing a great job of budgeting and like tracking them and all these things I'm aware of, like keeping debt in a higher interest place than it could be because I just keep avoiding transferring the money over for some reason.
Hmm.
Like these little
Hmm.
things that, and I've taken huge steps with finances this year. Like, I mean, I started my practice, I got a job that's like salaried with bonuses. Like, I really set myself up to be making enough money now.
Like, yeah,
Um,
more than enough.
yeah, but now it's like, okay, but I still really need to figure out how to budget better and how to honor myself with my finances. Things like go through my credit card statement and be like, what am I subscribed to right now that I'm not really
Hmm.
using that I can cut? Like, I don't want to just make more money. I want to like be conscious about how I'm spending because I think it was kind of like something I struggle with food too, or a part of me struggles with, which is that for so long I just didn't spend any money on anything because I was so terrified. And then I was forced to kind of let that go when my ex and I broke up. Like I had to just be okay with like, okay, and now all of a sudden my rent is doubled and I have to pay for all these things by myself and I'm not in this moment making enough money to do that. So what do I do? And it's like that caused a bit of um a letting go that I think was important to happen, as
Hmm.
has happened with food for me around the same timeline of being
Yeah.
like so restrictive and then being like, no, it like, and now I know that it's okay. I'm safe even if I mess up or if I'm not perfect. But there's this, okay, like honing in that needs to happen. So that's, there are a lot of ways that I did dumb things that like I spent so much more money than I could have on things just
Hmm.
because I was like waiting too long to book a flight because I didn't want to deal with my feelings around flying, or things like that. So
Hmm.
I'd say those are kind of the bigger challenges, failures where I feel like I haven't mastered that this year, but it came up a lot and I know it's coming up. But I did take the big steps of making more money. So that's cool. And yeah, and the other way is really in relationships. Like, I just feel like with my most recent ex, like a big thing I learned about myself is how much I was like abandoning myself in that scenario. And we started off the year, right, where I had just had this conversation with him where I was like
Yeah.
practically begging him to get back together with me, which, like, even at the time I knew was embarrassing. But
Yeah.
I was like, I'm letting myself feel how I feel and
Listen,
say what I want to say. I've never done that
no.
in my life.
Yes, we're gonna reframe that. That was not what you did was not embarrassing whatsoever. It was brave and courageous. And the thing that is like been the theme of my year, I mean, we're talking about the situation that I'm in right now where he's showing up in this way where he's just like expressing that he's like, I'm really happy to have you back in my life. I've been
Yeah.
thinking about you and I am too scared to say that back. I'm
Yeah.
like, well, I haven't been thinking about you because that would be crazy. And I would never be that vulnerable. I don't care at all. And like have been thinking about it nonstop. Like you just said what you wanted. You laid it on
Mhm.
the table and you said, this is how I feel. And this is what I've come up with. Do you want it?
Yeah.
I think that is the opposite of embarrassing. Actually, if he could have met you in that place, you might be in an incredible relationship right now, but he wasn't willing to do the thing that was as hard as you were doing.
Yeah.
Who should be embarrassed?
True. Take that, mystery man. Um,
You know what I'm saying though? Like,
yeah,
but like, let's reframe that. Like, who should be embarrassed? You fucking met the moment and you did the thing that was scary.
yeah.
There is nothing embarrassing about it. We are on the Chalant podcast right here.
That's so true. Yeah, and you know what? Like in that whole conversation, I think I had a bit of trouble understanding it for a while, but like that's been a big thing of this year of really over time as I connect more with myself and disconnect from him and from that, like I do have a better understanding of exactly what you're saying, and I can really see that that's what it was because,
Mm-hmm.
when I first got there and I said like I want to get back together, he was kind of like I could tell that he was prepared for that. I mean, I had really tried to sort of hint in our texting to set up the
Mm-hmm.
meetup that was along the lines of what it was going to be so that it wouldn't be a big surprise because I didn't want to
Mm-hmm.
like totally throw him off guard. And it seemed like he knew that was coming and he was like, "Yeah, I probably should have gone first. Like, I've decided that like I want to move on and whatever." And so that whole part of it was fine, but then I feel like I threw a wrench into things from his perspective maybe, or I don't know, something happened at this point because that's when I just was like, okay, like I'm gonna summon up all my courage now. And I was like, okay, I hear your no, and I will totally respect it. And like I have more to say that I just
Mm-hmm.
want you to be aware of. I want to say everything I need to say. And like, it's okay. I'm not trying to change your answer, but like, I want you to know these things. I want you to know this perspective I've had that's shifted. And I talked about how, like, the things I had realized about the challenges of our situation and how I had really realized that it wasn't a death sentence to our relationship. It was actually like exactly what both of us needed
Mm-hmm.
to move through our shit, to be able to be in a healthy relationship. It's
Mm-hmm.
like, I get it, the distance is hard, but like, what if it was perfect? Like, that was kind of the theme
Mm-hmm.
of what I was
Mm-hmm.
talking about. What if it was perfect? Because what would I need if I think about it to like marry someone and be like, I'm fully confident that you're the person I want to be marrying right now. And I know I have no regret and I know that I trust you. Like, what would I need? And it's like, yeah, if you can manage a relationship from the other side of the country and then make compromises to be together when it makes sense and figure that whole thing out so you can be together in the end. Like if I went through that with someone, I would trust them implicitly. Like that's a relationship you really have to choose every day, both of
Mm-hmm.
you.
Mm-hmm.
And so
Yeah.
like when I talked about that is when he got really triggered and started like, visibly being really triggered.
Mm-hmm.
And then I felt like I was having sort of like an autism moment
Mm-hmm.
experience where I like that was a moment where I felt very autistic of like, I don't understand what's happening. Like I don't understand what
Mm-hmm.
and I and he said something along the lines of like, this has just really caught me off guard. And I was like, I really don't understand how I could have done things any differently to not throw you off guard with this. Like I genuinely, like I just was having a
Mm-hmm.
really hard time understanding it. And and so then I just kind of felt rejected. But the big thing, like at the end of the day, the reasons that he told me once we had talked about everything and I had said my piece, because he's been saying, "Oh, it's just the distance is too hard." But it's hard to say that after what if it was perfect? And the only thing that he could say was that he just didn't want to do it because it was hard.
Yeah.
And that like didn't quite hit me until later, I think. I think it felt kind of
Mm-hmm.
convoluted in my head because we said different things, but I was like, no, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
when I really boil it down, like it just came down to I don't want to do the texting, I don't want to do the FaceTime, I don't want to do the traveling because it's hard
Yeah.
and I don't want to do something hard. And I'm not
Yeah.
willing to do something hard for you, for the relationship, for myself. Like it
Mm-hmm.
wasn't actually, there was at no point that he said, like, I'm just not into you. I'm just
No,
like
there was
initially.
nothing. I mean, even listen to how you said, like, I'm hearing your no, and I just need to get some things out.
Mhm.
So I'm just going to do that. Like, that's you showing up for you. There's nothing desperate about anything you just said, not even a little bit.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
chose yourself and you said, hey, I am not going to feel complete unless I say everything I need to say. Whatever your response is yours.
Yeah.
Like, that's actually incredibly courageous and you showing up for you.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah. But it's like, that's how we started the year for me, because that conversation was like, I don't know, right before the new year. That conversation for me sent me into a bit of a self-pity victim, like just being really sad, feeling like I was going through the breakup again. And that's how I started 2025. And there was a lot of like it was such an escape for me thinking about him, thinking about our
Mm-hmm.
relationship, replaying old moments and like, being like it really pissed me off when he did this and I should have said something. Or like I didn't recognize this form of like, covert whatever that was going on, and now I can see it and that was messed up and I wish I had stood up for myself. I wish, or being
Mm-hmm.
like, oh, I wish I had done this differently because then he probably would have felt space to be safe and to talk about his feelings. And it's like there was so much of that happening in my head this year, and I was so like, creeping on him all the time and making up stories about him and always wanting to find a reason to talk about him. And like that, it's like I felt myself abandoning myself
Mm-hmm.
in that, but it's also the first time that I have ever gotten out of a relationship where I was not in control. I wanted it to happen, and the other person rejected me, and in this case, multiple times. And I didn't jump into another relationship. I haven't even had a real crush this year. Like, you know what I mean? I
Mm-hmm.
have not been on a single date. I have really been like, no, I'm like decentering this from my life. And it's like, it might take me a long time to get over him because I have not done this before of like it's like trying to get over your wound of rejection, right? Like, of course, it's not
Mm-hmm.
really about him. It's about the fact that he rejected me. And so
Mm-hmm.
I'm craving a corrective experience.
Right.
And so usually I would just go get that from somewhere else. But like, that's another place that I've had like a lot of resilience this year of being like, no, I'm not going to move into something else until I'm really like over this and over this wound, or not over it, but like I've integrated this wound to the
That
point that I will
wound, yeah.
not abandon myself like this again the next
Mm-hmm.
time I get into a relationship.
Do you remember the conversation we had in the hot tub right
In the
after that
hot tub.
happened?
Yeah. Oh, girl, I got called out by this bitch.
She
I know
did.
my other friend was there and she was like, oh, yeah, that was like the next day, right?
Yeah, it was like the
What did you
next day
say?
or a couple days
Tell
later.
the viewers what
So
happened.
Megan was catching up her other friend on everything that had gone on with this man, and she was on a bit of a tirade of like, well, if he just did this, then it could work out and he just won't do it, and I don't get why he won't do it. Like if he would just fucking open up and talk about the things that are upsetting him and let me support him, then we could be to get like we could have intimacy and we could be together and all the hard things wouldn't feel so hard. And I was sitting there listening. It's at one of those moments where I went, Meg, you realize you're talking about yourself, right? And the way you looked at me, you were like, what?
I was like, too soon.
And I was like, literally everything you're saying right now about the things that you're so angry at him for are things that you have an opportunity to do in your career and you're not doing them because it was when you were starting your own practice, but it's in this office with her mentor. And she was just putting it off and putting it off and so embarrassed about the things she hadn't done yet, so she wouldn't open up to this mentor who was like super supportive, super open, just like the most wonderful person you could ever ask for as
Mhm.
somebody to be supporting you in this space. I was just like, bro, like there's a you're doing this to yourself. That's why this relationship is coming up for you right now because it's showing you where you're fucking doing it.
Yeah.
You were unbelievably triggered.
I mean, I think that's pretty fair. I
It
think
was.
anyone would be. I think it's also
Yeah.
really, really valuable to have friends like you in our lives that call these things out, because you're absolutely right. I mean, I wouldn't have been triggered if you had been wrong. I would have just been
No,
like,
and
no.
I did. I was careful. I was like, "Can I?" And you were like, "Yeah."
I was like, yeah, yeah, go
um
ahead. Go ahead.
Yes, literally like if you've ever seen somebody
Tell
squirm
me,
in the
tell
corner
me.
of a hot tub, she was like, I'm gonna kill you. But I only bring that up partially because it's funny, but mostly because you fucking did all of those things this year.
Yeah.
You did.
I
You learned to reach out
did.
for help. You learned how to have those conversations. You did face all of that fear and get your practice started and then go and get another job and go through that whole experience.
I allowed the
Like,
intimacy of asking for help
yeah,
and saying what I needed and being myself with both of these career opportunities, and it worked out so well. I was
yeah.
gonna say, because one of my other prompts that I had written out was like, what was the single most defining moment of the year for you that like, it kind of encapsulates all of it, or like the single moment where you saw your own growth in real time, like you noticed it. Um,
Ooh.
and I think for me, it was the moment when basically all of these steps I took, it was because I was being pushed, you know. It's
Mm,
like these are things
hmm
I've known that I needed to do for a long time, and I've, kind of done them or started, but kind of avoided. And this year I was coming up on like I was really for the first time not making enough money. And I
hmm
started this new practice, but it wasn't like enough to sustain me. And my extra money was like running out. And I was like, I actually really need there like a change needs to happen or my life's going to get really uncomfortable. And so, I sought out to get this job and it was like I was in this period where I was traveling, like I traveled 3 times in 2 months to the United States, different places to take these courses, which were also super impactful and like I was learning a lot. And I was running this other business. I had another job that it just wasn't paying me enough, so I needed to leave. And it wasn't like really feeling fulfilling for me. And so I had all of this going on. Two of my grandparents passed away this year. Like a lot was happening, still grieving this relationship. And so I was like, okay, like the money's running out. I have to do it. So I wrote the cover letter and I submitted myself and I went for interviews. And it's like each step of that process felt terrifying for me to be
hmm
myself. Writing my cover letter, I was like trying to write it the way that I thought that they would want me to. And I was like,
hmm
no, I'm going to be myself with this.
hmm
And they can take me or leave me. And then going in for the interviews and like it was every step was so, just confronting. And I had to
hmm
really choose to show up and I did. And when you're going through a time like that in your life where there's this instability, like I've quit one job, but I don't have another one lined up yet, and I don't know how I'm going to pay rent in 2 months, and it just is like, okay, and I have to make a decision, but I don't even know what to choose, and everything feels so all over the place. It's like when you're in that one of those times in life, it can be so like you just want balance. I just want roots. I just want everything to calm down is like the feeling. And sometimes we make the wrong decisions, or I don't know if wrong is the right word, but like we make the decisions that are
We
more in
don't
alignment,
listen.
yeah, with like our old patterns because it makes us feel
hmm
safe. And so we kind of push things away and end up in this situation that's not really what we want because it is just it's so dysregulating to go through that process
hmm
that you're like, I just need, why did I initiate all of this? Right. Like, and I had a moment where I was feeling like that. And I was just like, I stopped and I was like, wait, there's an answer. There's an answer right now. Like, this whole situation is going to happen, it's going to play out. I'm going to choose a job, I'm going to work at it. That I know. When have I ever completely fallen on my face? Like, as much as this feels stressful and tight, I know it's going to be okay. Even in the
hmm
worst case of scenario, I have a great credit score and a loving family who is supportive, right? Like, it's
Yeah.
like if I was in a really bad situation, I know that I wouldn't like be kicked out onto the streets.
Yeah.
And so it's not so dire as how it feels. And like, there's an answer right now. And in a year,
hmm
no matter what I choose, I'm going to be able to easily look back and see what that choice was. That was so clearly the most authentic, aligned thing for me. That was exactly what I needed in this moment. Like, exactly what I need in this moment is available to me somewhere. I just don't know where it
hmm
is yet. And it was the first time that I allowed myself to not be so dysregulated by the fact that I didn't know the answer yet and that I had
Yeah.
to like jump in. And because of that, I was able to really listen to myself during this process. Like, and the job I ended up taking after the first interview, I was like, I'm not going to be taking that one. I already know. I
Yeah.
was like, well, that one's out for sure. But then I kind of ended up going in again anyway because he had said something. I was like, well, I'm kind of curious, like what he's going to offer me for a salary. So like, I'll go back. And then like as I was interviewing other places, I started to realize like this is the only opportunity that is exactly what I need, and everything else is going to be way
Hmm.
harder than it needs to be.
Well, and I was just going to say that I remember getting those voice notes from you and just it was so clear to me what the right answer was, of course, because I'm
Hmm.
on the outside of it, but just watching you kind of go in circles in your old patterning
Yeah.
and going like, there's this thing out here that's everything you say you want. Oh, wow. I'm having epiphanies as I'm saying this about. Oh, that's uncomfortable. That, yeah, like kind of just watching you thinking you're going to make the same choice you've always made.
Yeah, and it's
And
like
finally stepping in that moment, I had really wanted you to make this decision on your own. I didn't want to say anything that would sway you in any direction
yeah.
because, it's your life. It has to be yours. But I think that was the moment that I finally just said, like, listen, there is a very clear answer here to me. And this is what I'm seeing. And it was like you had to kind of circle in your old patterns for a bit
To like recognize.
to recognize all of the things that was going to mean, to then look over to like the greener pasture and go, oh, wait, there's so much easier. Okay, I am
This
going
is
to choose the new thing.
actually everything that I want and need. It was like
Yeah.
the initial reasons why I didn't think I was going to take this job were because, well, it's like commitment issue. Like I felt like he was asking for a pretty big commitment. It was going to ask me to take a little bit away of time away from my practice. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and it was good. I was going to be observed. I was going to be, I needed to do things somewhat his way, and he was going to teach me and he was going to help me. But like, I was going to be, there was going to be someone holding me accountable all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like those were the things. And I was also worried, like, okay, it's guaranteed money, but is it limited? Like it's going to be limited. So at first it's going to be great, but then once I'm seeing a bunch of patients, I'm going to resent that I'm not making more money. And it was just like it hit me one day that I was like, these are all stories I've made up. These are all
Yeah.
assumptions. So let me see this through. And it's like the more I talk to him, the more I realize like, oh, him think like because I would also have this issue of like getting a job because I'm scared that my plan isn't to stay at it forever, which is so silly. But
Well, and I want to just call it back to that conversation in the hot tub.
mm,
All of the things you were calling this other man out for, of not being open and honest about his fears and his feelings and all these things,
yeah,
was the exact answer for you getting this job.
yeah,
Because all you had to do was go in and be really open and honest about your feelings and your fears. And then you got all the answers you needed in order to make the right choice.
yeah.
So you
Like
killed that girl.
I did. And I told him about acting and how I do want to
Mm-hmm.
have like the freedom that if I book something, there can be some flexibility. And he kind of explained to me, he's
Mm-hmm.
like, yeah, I mean, if it's tomorrow and I'm not available to cover you and we have to cancel our whole day, like I'm not cool with that. I'm like,
Yeah.
that's fair. That's a fair boundary. That's a lot of business money lost,
Mm-hmm.
because of my actions. But he's like, as long as we can make it work, like I don't care. That's fine. So it's
Well, and
like,
you're gonna find that in any job like that.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
going to be the way in any
Yeah.
job. And like, and he also ended up saying in one of them, like, yeah, I mean, I find it usually takes 2 to 3 years for someone to really find their groove. And then so he's like, this isn't a contractual obligation, but like in my head, it's around that time when we would talk about, okay, what are next steps? Do you want to like further integrate into the practice? Do you want to stay for longer? Do you want to go do your own thing? And it's like, right, I don't have to be so afraid that I'm making this big commitment I can never get out of by getting a job. Like, what anyone can leave a job anytime. It's like
Mm-hmm.
that's all just my feelings that I'm projecting onto this. And I was like, what did I say I wanted? Like, it just hit me. I'm like, what do I actually need right now? I was like, what do I need? What do I need? What do I need? I was like, I need money. I need
Mm-hmm.
security. I need a soft place to land. And that's
That's
what
so
really,
funny.
I
That
was
was
like,
the next thing out of my mouth.
I
Was
need a
like,
soft
yeah.
place to land. All these other opportunities are not guaranteed. They either require me to build up a practice, which is going to take some time, or they completely onload a bunch of stuff onto me immediately. That's insurance cases. That's like not my area of interest. That's annoying and stressful and like
Mm-hmm.
a lot of work. Yes, you'll make money right away, but
Mm-hmm.
you will like die doing it.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was like, this is this option. I have mentorship. I'm being held accountable. I have, or being watched all the time. Yeah, I have mentorship. I have someone who cares about my
Mm-hmm.
growth, who is there that
Uh-huh.
I can ask questions to anytime, who supports me through the entire process so it's as easeful as possible. I have finances, and the finances, it ended up being a salary with bonus structure. So like,
Yeah.
because I asked that, and I don't know if he had it set up that way initially, but he asked about salary, or I asked about salary. He told me what he was offering me, and I was like, okay, and where does that, where does the incentive live for me in terms of how that can go up over time? Because of course, I'm not going to want to just make the same amount of money forever. So how does it work here? Like, is there a certain amount of people I need to see to get a bump in my salary? Is there a bonus or whatever? He's like, I'll get
Yeah.
back to you on that. And then he laid out this whole bonus system that's great. And I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, so he's like, basically, you can really easily make like six figures here, but it just, you have to be seeing enough people that we can afford it at the business. So like these are the numbers. And I'm like,
Right.
those are super. He's like, honestly, if you work hard, you can achieve those numbers in like a month. And
Yeah.
I was like, and now that I'm doing it, like I almost hit my numbers this week to like
Yeah.
reach my salary to be starting making bonus. I only started seeing patients 3 weeks ago. This is my
Yeah.
third week. And I saw like
Then this
I
is where the
had like
ease
almost 30
is.
adjustments. Yeah,
Yeah.
35 adjustments. I'm making bonuses on that onwards. I saw almost
Yeah.
30 this week.
Yeah.
Like I'm like, and it's so I just, that's my single defining moment of being able to, while I'm in the tornado, be like, wait, this is an illusion.
Yeah.
I
I
can
think that's like,
just be myself and choose and be regulated and it will work out.
that is the biggest thing coming up for me everywhere right now. Is
Yes.
like, as soon as you said, I was going to ask what's your defining moment, I sifted through a few and I was like, I don't know if this is because it just happened this week
Hmm.
or if it really is the defining moment, but I feel like it is in a big way, is exactly what you're saying. What I've seen is that I have time and space and that the answer will come.
Yeah.
But when I zoom out for a second and I give my body the time to process, I give myself the space and I don't do anything until I have a clear answer, there always will be one. Always. And it will be the right one
Yeah.
because it's coming from a place that's regulated and it's coming from a place that's deeply intuitive. That's never going to steer me wrong. And
Hmm.
so, like, it came up with our friend. She's going through something right now, and she was really mad about the way this other person was acting. And I read it completely differently because I was like, you're just in your shit right now. Once you're out of that shit, you're going to see that there's this message is totally benign. You're totally fine. But it was the same with me this week. Like, the moment I ended up sending Megan like 25 minutes of the most psychotic voice notes on Monday before I was going on this date.
I don't think I
Because
ever even listened to them all. Because then she called
honestly,
me. Literally, I didn't even have the chance to listen to them. And she called me. And she was like, Hannah. And the last voice, she was like, oh, I don't know. And I was like, whoa, this is crazy. It's
this is
Monday.
a
Like, girl, it's Monday.
it's
Like, whoa.
Monday.
It is Monday evening. Chill the fuck out.
I learned that I really should not speak until I've given myself this time. I was like, this is definitely the answer. Like, I can see the whole thing right now.
And
And
I
then,
was
like,
like,
within the next 20 minutes of sending those voice notes, the answer was completely different.
sometimes that's what you need to get there, you know?
And that, I mean, that's why I do that because sometimes I just got to like say it out loud and then the answer becomes clear. That was actually a
Um,
really big moment for me. Sorry. We just paused for a second for chargers and blankets and, snacks and things. And I'm like on a bit of a different planet now. Anyway, yes, I was talking.
I told her something funny, but it's not something I'll
We
be
can't
sharing.
we can't share it on the pod. Sorry, guys. I probably should have
It's an
composed myself
inside
before we
joke.
started recording again. So basically, I sent Megan like 20 minutes of the most psychotic voice notes ever. But I was like in the middle of an epiphany. And I feel like it was the most defining moment. What does that say about me of my
Are you
year?
crazy?
But no, but because so basically I was gonna hang out with this person, this guy who came back into my life. And he had reached out being like, hey, would love to get together. And I was like, cool, I'll let you know when I'm ready. I had asked a series of questions. I was very, very good with we know I've been working on inner safety a lot.
Mm.
And I was very good with being honest about where I was at and asking the questions that I needed to ask. So this was also a pretty defining moment. This hair is just killing me. Um, it's like the one just won't go anywhere. Anyway, this was a very defining moment because I was caught really off guard by the message. And instead of forcing myself to just respond, I stopped and was like, okay, how do I really feel about this? And then I didn't respond for like 7 hours. Left this man on red for 7 hours. Again, not on purpose, like not to be mean, but I knew that I wasn't in full authenticity around it yet. So I didn't want to respond until I was. Gave myself the time, was like, I'm really surprised by this. Like I was like, right, I can just be honest. So I was like, I'm really surprised what changed, blah, 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 blah. So in the end, I was like, okay, yeah, we can get a drink. And I was like, and again, there was another moment where it was sort of like, okay, we've established that we can, but I didn't feel yet ready to just make a plan. I'm learning to be really intuitive about those things, or to allow myself to let my intuition lead the way on those things. In the past, I would have just like done it from my head and been like, oh, well, this is my day off. So that's the day I'll do it. Instead of being like, wait, what do I have space for this week? How am I feeling? And like I said in the last episode, learning like what that conversation I had with my intimacy coach, where she was like, your body's going to tell us what's the right answer. And so I waited until I heard the right day, basically, or I heard the right answer. And I was like, I'll let you know when I'm ready. And he was like, great. Took me like 4 days. And there was a distinct moment that I was like, oh, I feel ready now. Okay. And I was very clearly hearing a certain day. And so that's what I said. I proceeded to absolutely panic after I decided to send the message. But again, that's the thing. It's like, okay, I stop and I go, what is this fear? What is this panic? And I really checked in with myself the next morning. I really stopped to ask, is this panic telling me that I'm not ready? Is this panic telling me that this isn't a good situation? Or is it here because this is just new and something that I have a past with that has been really scary?
Mm.
And I gave myself the time and the space. And then I sent the message so that we make this plan for Monday. And he was being really, really sweet about it. I checked in on the Monday being like, hey, are we still on for tonight? He responded immediately and was just like really kind about it. And I got set off by that. I was like, it's love bomby. It's too much. Something's wrong. And I couldn't kick that feeling all day. And it was like, but you're not going to not go because you're safe. You're okay. So what is this feeling? And I sat with it earlier in the day and the voices were so loud.
Yeah.
All like the old pattern, the old way I would have done things to try to figure it out was so loud that I was like, okay, I'm going to go to the gym. I'm going to go do a DI. Like I'm going to just move my body. I'm going to get out of this space. And so I sat back down again later and was like, let me just see if something will come up. Let me see if an answer will come up. And it did. It showed me exactly what it reminded me of, why I felt afraid of it. And for the first time in my life, I think in that moment, I was able to look at all of those things and go, like, from that adult perspective, go, I see you and I see this fear and it's valid and there's a reason that it's here. It does remind you of all of these things that led to really bad things.
Yeah.
I see you and I hear you and I'm protecting you and I've got you. And if we show up tonight and we find out within 5 minutes that all of those things are true, we're going to leave. But we're going to go do the research and find out if they're true. And it was like, why I say that was the most defining moment of my year was because for the first time in my life, I felt like I could trust myself in a relationship. That has been the biggest, what?
Well, no, finish what you're saying.
That has been the biggest challenge for me in my whole life. The thing I've been the most afraid of, the thing I've had the most shame around is romantic relationships. The thing that I have betrayed myself the most in, the thing that I have kicked the shit out of myself the most about. And for that moment to have it click and go, oh my God, I can do this. I feel safe to go into this and I trust myself and I can do this, was maybe the most incredible moment of my life. Like not just the year, but my life.
Yeah, it's like the first time you feel that that's just like available. It's just possible. You're not a
Yeah.
victim to that anymore.
Yeah.
So exciting. Yeah, no, I
So
wanted you to
crazy.
finish that because this is about you. But I wanted to say that, I had a same but different feeling this year. It wasn't the same thing. I'm not quite there yet, but where, I had an instance where I felt that I could trust myself to maybe open up again a little bit. In this case, it was to having a crush because I actually met this man this summer who was like literally the man of my dreams, from what I can tell. But like, I got a pretty good idea from the few times we met each other. And I was so surprised at how, like, I met this man and I was like, in a circumstance where he was turned around. And then, like, when he got up and faced me, I was like, oh my God, that guy's really hot. And inside. And then I, got to know his personality a bit and was like, oh my God, and like learned some things about him and was like, Jesus, this is literally, I didn't know this man exists. Like, this is the man of my dreams. And I didn't feel obsessive. I didn't feel that click happen. I felt it want to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like, no. Like I
Mm-hmm.
was in choice to not become, because
Mm-hmm.
in the past, it's like, okay, so now I'm gonna like learn everything I can about this guy and creep on him. And he's gonna be the new
Yeah.
like main character in all of my fantasies. And I'm gonna like do like, the way that I know him is that he frequents a place that I frequent every week and I have access to know when he's going to be there. So I could just like happen to go at the same time as him and always dress really nice and like try to talk or like, try to make
Mm-hmm.
him notice me. And, like that's kind of what I probably would have done in the past. But I was like, no, I can really just acknowledge that like this is the kind of man I'm looking for. This is
Mm-hmm.
like the kind of man I feel like I've never met a man like him that I was super attracted to in real life. I've met
Yeah.
men like him, but not one that I was attracted to, and I was very
Right.
attracted to him.
Yes.
And so like
Yes.
I was like, whoa, I would actually like, date this
Yeah.
person for sure. And and I was like, wow, I can choose not to fall into that pit, idolizing this and putting this person on a pedestal and making it feel so unrealistic that I'm too scared to ever even put myself out there, but I'm obsessed with them, or that like I feel like I have to, it's like I'm abandoning myself before anything has even started.
Yeah.
Like I'm like I did not engage with that pattern. I actually had I was just it was available to me to be like,
Mm-hmm.
"Oh, I'm not gonna yeah, no, I met the man of my dreams and it's totally fine and I'm not gonna look." And so I did see him again after that and I will continue to, I'm sure. And I never am looking really nice that day and I never like start not being myself to try to like impress him or like
Mm-hmm.
I've never met someone like that where I didn't fall into that. And I'm like, wow, that makes me feel safe to open up to
I
love.
did the same. I did a similar thing on Monday. I had blocked out the time. I was like, I'm going to do this, this, and this. And then I'll have time to like wash my hair and do it
Hmm.
properly and dress a certain way. And it's the way that I always do it so that I feel confident,
Hmm.
so that I feel beautiful.
Hmm.
And I got to the moment where I was about to jump in the shower and I just checked in with my body and was like, I don't feel like washing my hair. I just really don't. That feels like too much work right now.
Mm.
And so I just didn't. And I was like, I really feel like wearing a hoodie today. Like it's fucking cold outside. I'm going to this thing before. Like I just don't in any way feel like I want to put on the other kind of outfit.
Yeah, it's
So
like
I'm not going to.
if I got all dolled up right now, like
It would
the
be for
time of
him.
working out, it would be for him, not for me. What I'm
It
doing
would
for
be for
me.
what I think he
Yeah.
wants.
And
And I
then
gave myself the permission. I just was like, wait, okay, like we're working on this trust piece. Can
hmm,
I really just listen to everything that, and like we ended up going to this like super fancy place. And I was like walked in like baggy jeans, combat boots, and a black hoodie that actually had like a couple spots on it that I didn't notice before I left the house. My hair was
and a
like in a
bun.
ponytail. Yeah. Like it was like probably day 5 of having it not washed. I had like sprayed some water in my ponytail to like help it curl a little bit. It was fuzzy, but it really gave me something. It was like, no, I'm really gonna listen. I'm not gonna try to make you be something that I think you need me to be.
Yeah, it's
Lo
like
and behold,
you're
like he didn't
not
give a fuck. Nobody cared.
Yeah, it's like you're not abandoning yourself. And it's like you never want to set the stage for a relationship with abandoning
No.
yourself because then it's like as soon as you show up as yourself, they're like, well, what the heck? Why?
Yeah.
Because they have this expectation
Well,
that you're gonna
and
look and show up a different way that's not really who you are because that's what you led with.
yeah, and even deeper than that, it doesn't like the other person at the end of the day doesn't even matter.
No.
It's what is my relationship with myself?
Yeah.
Am I going to push my body in a way like it's that permeates into everything. If I really don't feel like washing my hair and I don't feel like putting on a tight outfit and sucking in my stomach all night, but I do it, that's going to permeate into I don't really feel like having sex right now, but it's not going to kill me and
Mm.
it's what they want, so I'll do it.
Yeah.
That's where that permeates into.
Yes. Yeah. That's
And I just went, no,
Mhm.
and I was so proud of myself the whole night where I let the duality live, where I was like, oh, I do feel really comfortable with you. I do feel like I want to be affectionate, like our legs were touching and we like would touch hands and like it was very affectionate. I felt like I wanted to be close, but I wasn't ready to be close. It wasn't like, oh, so we should go home together. And that was a conversation that was had. And I just went like, no, I'm not ready. And he asked why. And I said, I'm just not. And he went, okay, great. I'll drop you off. It's like it was two human beings being honest about where they were at, having a conversation about it clearly and openly, and compromising. And it
Mhm.
was like, I could feel that he wanted a little more. I could feel that he was more comfortable with the touch. And I didn't bend. I didn't bend at all. I did what I was comfortable with. There was even a point where I was like, oh, like I'm not done hanging out. Like I don't want to go to either person's house, but I'm not done like hanging out with you.
Mm. Mhm.
But it was the time of the night where like nothing was really open. So it was just, so there was a piece of me that was like, maybe I should just go over and just set a boundary saying like, I don't want to touch. But
Mhm.
then I was like, no, Alethea, you don't want to wake up there. You don't want to
Yeah.
sleep in someone else's bed. It's
Mhm.
not worth it to cross those boundaries with yourself, even if I tell him nothing's going to happen and I stick to that. Am I going to be happy that I made this decision in the morning? Like, no. I want to work out. I want to do my work. And then I want to go to work. I
Yeah.
don't want to be rushing back from somebody else's house tomorrow morning.
Mhm.
So, this feeling of like, I'm not done hanging out with you, that can continue on another day. I don't
Yeah.
have to push all these other boundaries in myself in order to have this nice feeling right now.
Yeah.
That nice feeling will happen again 4 days from now. You've had enough. You can go home. It's okay. We don't need to hold on tightly because it's like the only time it's going to feel good. We don't need to push all of the rest of your feelings aside because this thing might feel good. That's the part that makes me trust myself. That the second something changes in me, I can just say, you know what? I changed my mind. I don't feel like I have to do what they need me to do.
Mm.
That's the key. Anyway, should we
Yep.
get to 2026?
Yeah.
I have some like kind of a cool perspective to share that I'm excited about sharing. But do you want to go
Okay.
first?
No, go for it.
Okay.
I don't,
So,
so
oh, perfect.
take it away.
I will be the star. Okay, so as y'all have probably figured out by now, the thing that is on my manifestation list for this year is a partner, which still gives me big feelings,
Ooh,
but it's gotten to the point
sexy.
where so hot. I can't even hold hands with somebody, but like one day it will be
Holding hands is
sexy.
so hot. I want to hold
One
hands with
day there
you.
might be some sex. It
I
might
literally
happen.
met a single man I would like to hold hands with this year, and it was crazy. I did not engage.
And we aborted the mission.
No, actually,
You've been
that was something
engaging.
that was no, that was something I was really proud of myself and being
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
wow, there's a man of my dreams. I'm not ready for a relationship. Anyway, you know what I mean? Like, and I am in no place. I don't feel like I need to control and make him like me so I can have him because he's gonna go. I'm like, I'm
Yeah,
not ready.
no. You
He'll
say
come
we're not
back if he's
there.
meant to.
Yeah. Yeah, that is crazy. That is wild, actually.
That's amazing that that is how it wasn't in an avoidant way. Anyway, back to
So
you.
anyway, I'm doing the to be magnetic end of year challenge. And so I had to write out, my manifestation list. And really I had written the list when I was in retreat at the end of August. I have a list of all the things I want in a person. And so I was like, I don't really feel like I need to rewrite that. I checked in and was like, is there anything I need to add? There was one thing I needed to add. Um, but then they have all these prompts to write about your list. And I was like, I don't really feel like I need to do that. And then I was like, oh yeah, you do. Like, don't gloss over it. Do every step, really commit. And I mean, listen, y'all, in this moment, like it is so much easier for me to say I don't want a partner than it is for me to say I do. It's
Yeah.
like I have come to the point where I realize that I cannot really move forward in my life. My body's been screaming at me that we can't keep doing things the same way. So I know the answer to that is to let love in. So it's really not about the partner, even. It's about letting love in on a deeper level. And that was the cool epiphany I had. So I was answering the questions about my list, and it's like, is this coming from ego? What parts of it are coming from ego? Blah, blah, blah. And I'm really going through. And one of the questions was, how do you think you'll feel? Or, okay, so first, one of the questions was, is this like possible in the next 6 to 12 months? So they
Mhm.
have this idea that, you can't, if you're living in like a tiny little studio apartment for $500 a month, you're not going to manifest a mansion within the next 6 months,
Right.
like a beachfront mansion. So you've got to understand that there are steps. So in the past, I've always looked at that question as, well, from my head, like, yeah, I could meet somebody in the next 6 to 12 months. Like, okay.
Hmm.
But this time I sat with it, and the immediate answer was, am I prepared to be the person I need to be in the next 6 to 12 months? That was mind blowing.
Mm.
It is no, like we've always said, it's not about the external things, it's not about the outside things. But I didn't really have an understanding of that until now. That I went, am I going to commit to doing all the things that scare me and growing in a way so that I can be the person that's ready to hold this? Then the next question was, how do you think you'll feel when you have it? And immediately I was like, scared, challenged, growing, but in this really incredibly empowering way
Mm.
that took every manifestation ever off the pedestal. Because I went, by the end of 2026, what I really want, what's underneath those ideas, what I really want is to have the safety in my body to be able to hold more love and more money and more career stuff. And, the podcast taking off, doing more music and artistry stuff. What I want is to be so solid in my own body that I am a person that can hold the space for all of
Mm.
those things to come through. It's really not about the thing. It's like, we know. Like I said earlier, it was like me coming back to New York was inevitable. It was just about making enough space in my nervous system to be able to do it.
Yeah.
Me starting a podcast, inevitable. It
Hmm.
was about making enough space for myself to do it.
Yeah.
I just see it so differently now. It's like me getting a partner used to mean so many things about me in my ego. One of
Mm.
them being, well, then, like, I will have conquered this thing that I feel like I can't do. It was like, well, it's so idealized in my mind what it would feel like to be loved by somebody that I would feel loved all the time. And I would feel like secure, and I would feel like I'm getting everything I need, and I would feel proud of myself. But it's like, no, actually, what I need to feel in order for this to be here is safe. And that's what's coming up in this connection that I'm having right now. Like, I don't know where I know this person will be in my life forever. Like, we've known each other forever, but um, I don't see it like we're not going to get married probably. We're in different places in life.
Hmm.
But I see it as this incredible opportunity where he is all the things that I've asked for, save for like two. And they're two big things. So it's not to be ignored, but it's like the safety, the honesty, the openness, the stability, the security, all of those things. Like he is a fucking pillar of a human being where he's like, it's cool, I'll hang out and you can just like come and go as you please.
Mm.
which is something I very much need in this season of my life and probably forever, because I'm
Hmm.
learning that I don't really want structure. I don't like structure. I hate it. I don't like feeling trapped.
Hmm.
And so what I like, that's my big focus for 2026 is actually not on a thing. It's not on numbers. It's not on, whether I'm still in my day job or not. It's just looking at like, even I'm making way more money right now because it's the holidays.
Mm.
I'm also spending more money now because it's the holidays and being able to step back from that and be like, oh, I'm in my old pattern. Okay. What do I have to do in order to make my nervous system, in order to invite my nervous system into the safety of holding more money, where I don't feel like as soon as I have it, I want to spend it? There's nothing wrong with me. I'm not broken. There's nothing I need to like uncover, or it's just, okay, how do I support myself? I see this pattern happening. How do I support myself into a space where I feel like I trust myself to hold so much more of it? It's the same with this relationship stuff. I'm
Hmm.
like, for the first time in years, like literally since my ex, I have a man who walked into my life who actually lives in the same place I do. If that doesn't tell you everything you need to know about my emotional availability, that literally everybody I get interested in does not live here.
Yep.
I'm like, right, because I really wasn't ready for anything like real in any way.
Yeah.
So now I'm in a place where, okay, it's here and it's available and it's not going away. So I get to choose what I do with it. And can I take those little steps one by one to hit my growth edge a little bit, choose to let it in? Like
Mm.
I could run away from this easily.
Hmm.
Tomorrow I could be like, hey, you know what? This is too much for me. And he'd be like, okay, but that's my choice. I can also choose to go into it
Yeah.
and I can choose to heal everything that it brings up so that I'm just in a place where I'm okay either way, but I'm capable of holding more.
Yeah.
That's my goal.
It's a pretty good goal.
Thanks. I'm excited because it also means that it's not, I heard so much like when I meditate, when I was first starting the podcast and
Yeah.
like, still really in that space of like, oh my God, I have to get out of this job.
Yeah.
I was like, give me the answers. Like, just God, give me the answers. Give me the answers. And I
Yeah.
just kept hearing like it's in the silence. It's in the emotional work. It's in the silence. It's in the emotional work.
Yeah.
And I
It's not
find
outside of you.
it's not. It's not that I have to release episodes on a certain day each week. It's not that I
Yeah.
have to put the X amount, do the algorithm right on Instagram. And it's none of that. The only thing that matters is my nervous system.
Hmm.
The only thing that matters is how much I am capable of holding. That's it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so it finally makes sense to me because, that was the hardest thing for me. I'm so
Hmm.
used to doing, I'm so used to like executing, and I'm so good at that. And it feels good to me because I feel accomplished at the end of the day.
Yeah.
But it's like I had to give up the feeling of being accomplished to move into the feeling of supporting myself. That was another thing I wrote on my list that I forgot to say about accomplishments of this year, that I'm about to say
Sorry.
something Megan is trying to
Yeah.
process. That I'm now living my life from a place of how can I support myself rather than how can I change myself.
Mm.
Waking up and making sure that
Yes.
I do my DI or I integrate or I go to the gym. I can see in real time what my mood is like when I do those things and when I don't.
Yeah.
And it's a drastic change. So
Yeah.
I've moved into a space of I'm doing this to support my nervous system. I'm doing this to make myself feel better. I'm doing this so that I'm a better creator when
Hmm.
I'm a happier person, right? Or it's
Hmm.
like if when I have kids, it's like you're better at everything when you've taken care of yourself. And I
Yeah.
finally get that. So it was a huge, like I'm such an executor, or I've been such an executor, and moving from that space into actually the priority is always making myself feel better.
Mm.
From that place, I can get anything I want done, but it
Yeah.
has to start there.
Yeah.
And so it's like no longer am I looking at, okay, well, if I want somebody to love me, I have to do these things to get their love.
Mm.
It's if I want love in my life, I have to learn how to hold it. I have to look at and love and nurture the places that feel scared of it.
Yeah.
And there are good reasons for that in my life.
Hmm.
Really good reasons. Oh, I haven't even caught you up on my screen. I will. I'll catch you guys up on my screen too. Don't worry. Not right now because we're coming to the end. But,
Yeah.
there are really good reasons that I feel afraid of touch and that I feel afraid of intimacy, or
Hmm.
a piece of me feels afraid of intimacy.
Yeah.
So instead of condemning those pieces and being like, God, you suck at this, or you're never going to figure it out, or whatever, it's, I see you and there's a reason you're here. And I'm going to give you everything you need so that we don't feel afraid anymore of this thing that we so desperately long for.
Yeah. It's the only way through
Yeah.
that is honoring yourself that's really going to get you. It's the only way to get what you want in a way that you want it,
Mm-hmm.
where you actually get it and you're like, yes, this is what I
I was
wanted
just
and
gonna
I'm
say, yeah,
happy.
and like, and where you can enjoy it, where you can have
Yeah.
it. It's like
Yeah.
that's what I'm staring in the face right now. I'm looking at this man in front of me, being like, "You're everything I asked for."
Yeah.
I'm the one who doesn't want to hold it. It feels really scary. So it's like it's no longer, oh well, I just haven't met that person. It's like, no, no, no. It's literally being presented to you,
Yeah.
and I'm gonna choose to move towards it, and I'm gonna choose to let it help me grow into whatever it's gonna help me grow into.
Mm. Mm.
And I'm going to choose to show up in a way with this person that I'm really fucking proud of. I intend to have this person in my life for the rest of time.
Yeah.
I don't think probably as a husband,
Mm.
but that doesn't mean that there isn't always going to be love. And I choose to show up as a person who is deserving of that love because I have treated them in a way that's honoring them and me. Like that's my goal, is to become that person.
Pretty cool. That sounds
Yeah.
like a good year coming up.
It came
I'm
up
proud
in
of you.
my, thank you. It came up in my integration yesterday that I had to say, I choose to have the integrity of those who are grace embodied. And it was like, yeah, I do choose that. I choose to have the integrity of somebody who has an open heart and can be grace and let the relationships come and go and evolve and change.
Yeah.
But that no matter what, I am responding out of grace and love,
Hmm.
which is not how I've done it in the past. Let me tell
That's pretty tough.
you. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Well, for me, I mean, I think the theme of 2026 is I think it's about choosing myself. And I think it's through the lens of like sacredness. Like sacredness feels really big for me right now in the way that like, it's not about like this last year, so many big changes had to happen in my life, right? And this year isn't about that. I'm like planted, I'm good. I know what I'm doing, I know what my goals are, my plans. Like it's not about having these big changes in my life, but it's about the way that I show up to that life and allowing for sacredness to be there, like sacredness with my relationship with myself, like honoring myself and like allowing my work to be sacred and to show up to it from that perspective. Because I mean, it's the same thing as what you're talking about in terms of like when I do these things, I know that it makes me feel good. And it's like that's what I'm really learning at the end of this year is that for me to feel good in my life, there has to be meaning. I have to allow there to be
Mm-hmm.
meaning to the things I'm doing, whether it's practices with myself, whether it's a romantic relationship that I'm in, whether it's a friendship, whether it's a hobby or my job, like there has to be meaning. And that's kind of what I mean by sacredness. Like really leaving the space and allowing there to be enough presence and intention in the things that I'm doing and the choices that I'm making that I can feel fulfilled. Because I've learned that it's not about what I'm doing, it's not about who I'm with. It's like, it's about how I'm living and how I'm showing up. And like you've
Mm-hmm.
said a lot, like this year really showed me how much everything is a choice. I had to move through a lot of fear this year to get to that place. And it's for a long time I've been saying that everything's a choice. And it's like this thing that I've known in my head and I've been able to relate to at times. Or I can see it in other people. Like, you're choosing this, isn't it so obvious? But now I really feel it in my bones of like when like, this has been a big shift for me this year of when I don't show up in those ways of presence and intention that allow there to be meaning in my life, and then I feel shitty, I don't hate on myself. I don't feel like there's something wrong with me, which is a huge shift because that was a hard one for me to
Mm-hmm.
stop doing. Like that took a long time.
Mm-hmm.
But I just feel like, I get it. I could exist this way. A lot of people do. And like it just doesn't feel good for me. And it's like I know exactly how to not feel this way is to just allow enough space for there to be meaning in my life. It means putting my phone away more. It means
Mm-hmm.
not engaging with the voices in my like my bullshit when I'm making decisions.
Mm-hmm.
Like it and small decisions of like I'm gonna get out of bed right now even though I don't want to so I can work out because I know that will make my day way better. Like honoring myself in that way. So yeah, I feel like the year is about properly choosing. Like I had to choose myself in a lot of big ways this year and this year and now 2026 is like choosing myself in the moments. Because it's like there's no threshold you reach where you don't have to choose anymore. It's
Mm-hmm.
always a choice. And some days it's really easy to choose, and some days it's really hard to choose,
Mm-hmm.
like honoring yourself and your authenticity. So, yeah, I also think that love is in the air for me in 2026.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not sure yet if it's in the way where I'm actually going to meet someone that I date properly or for a long time or enter a big relationship. I don't know if it's there yet, but I know that it's definitely time for me to start looking at it, looking at all the stuff with
Mm-hmm.
relationships that have been like that's a big one that I have kind of avoided. Just like, with my last relationship, I stepped into it a lot more than I had, like since I was a teenager, or probably ever really, of doing the thing, being vulnerable, right? Doing the hard thing like we were talking
Mm-hmm.
about. But then it's like also seeing how that makes me feel and what bullshit comes up when I do that and what keeps me from doing it and what makes it feel hard and how do I feel after and like integrating all of that, moving through all those pieces so that I get to this place where I feel really like trusting in myself. I feel like I trust myself. If I was to get into a relationship right now and start dating, like I trust myself so much more to not abandon myself, but I'm still scared that I will. I'm still scared that I
Yeah.
won't be able to see things that everyone else can see, like
Yeah.
there's still fear around that.
I'm really having a callback to Brandy from the mountains.
She told me I'm gonna marry a Leo type dude.
So we Brandy from the mountains. That's really not her name. Well, it is her name. We ended up seeing this astrologer and like
Like
we
a
had
friend recommended
a
it,
friend recommended it. Yeah.
and we're like, oh, this is cool. Let's like try it.
Yeah, it was super fun. And so we had separate sessions. And then we've like her name was is some like Indian, whatever. And then we found out that her real name is Brandy. She lives in the mountains.
Brandy
So
from
we
the
just call
mountains.
her Brandy from the mountains.
Ah,
Um and no, but what she told you about when she said like you really have to romance yourself,
right.
like when you said, I don't know if it's going to be, I'm just having kind of intuitive hits here. We'll
Yeah.
see. We'll see where they go. But um, when you said, like, I don't know if this year is going to be about me finding a person, immediately I was like, no, it's not.
Mhm.
It's about you, like, really falling in love with yourself.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
about you. And it doesn't mean that there will be no other people involved.
Yeah.
But I think there's like a huge reclamation
Yeah.
that is ripe for you
Hmm.
and a big reclamation of your body and your sexuality. And I knew you were going to have that response. And I said, hilariously, no, I was like, I think you need to have a little bit of a slut phase, actually, maybe.
Oh my God. What? I thought I was
I
done with
see.
that.
No,
I
but
thought I
because,
was done with my days of being a slut.
no, but I mean it in the fucking best sense of the world, in the world, word. And maybe it doesn't mean you sleeping with anybody specifically. Like that's obviously up to you. But I think there's like a really big, this is just channeling as I go. We'll find out. There's a really big, yeah, just reclamation of you and your body and like freeing that part of yourself. And whether that means exploring with some people or just exploring with yourself, I don't know. But I think there's a little bit of like play in your near future that does not include being in something serious. That's
Okay.
exciting,
I know,
Meg.
I know, I know, I know. I'm so excited.
She's not excited at all.
No, it's good. You're right. I can't even talk right now. So clearly this is
She's so
hitting.
triggered.
I have to go. I think it's just like, yeah, this is a big thing. For me, it's so hard. And I think there's just, I think the way that I see myself in this way is so distorted. And it's a really
Hmm.
important part of, I mean, that has been something I've learned a lot in my like sexual experiences is kind of the more I allow myself to like, open up to people and have those types of experiences, the more I realize my own value in that way.
Hmm.
Like that's been something for me. Like for so long, I was like, I thought so badly of myself in like any sexual context. I was like, you know, I can't I can't hook up with anyone because they're not gonna like me anymore because I'm so like gross and
Hmm.
disgusting and
Hmm.
bad at this and I don't know what I'm doing and like no one would want to be with me in that way. And so it's like I've come a long way and it's been by being with other people
Hmm.
that don't make me feel like that. They're that have responses that, they can't even control.
Hmm.
And I'm like, oh, huh.
Huh.
I guess
Kind
that's
of,
true. Yeah, like
yeah.
okay, and so that has been a way that I've learned in the past. So it makes sense that possibly that is a way I learn in the future.
Yeah,
Because I
no,
have
I
a
think, I mean,
long
like
way to go with that.
I'm seeing right now why I say, like, I think you're gonna have a bit of a slut phase is because, like, I see that being part of the reclamation of you feeling empowered and feeling in control. And
Yeah,
not,
and
not,
getting really in touch with my yeses and nos and like taking up,
yeah,
not being afraid to take up space,
to
to be
take up that
like,
space. Yeah. And you
yeah,
can only do that with other people.
yeah, being like, you know
Yeah.
what? I know we said that we were gonna go back to your place and potentially hook up, and now that we're here, and I don't want to anymore, so I'm gonna leave.
Yeah.
Things like
Or
that. Like,
like you being the person being like, we're going home and we're going to do this and we're going to do it my way. Like I
yeah,
think that's always been
let me
for
get
me
my
with
rubber
you.
suit.
Yes.
Dominatrix.
Maybe just,
Wait, we can't keep this in here. We can't keep that in here. We have to cut that out.
okay.
It was a funny joke, but we can't keep that in.
Anyway, no, but for me with you, I mean, I think that's always been a really big key to your abundance is getting in touch with your sexuality in that way and
Yeah.
really reclaiming that for yourself. Like, I
Hmm.
think that's, in a way, I would almost say that's your biggest block. Like, you're
I
in this place now where you're secure and you're safe. You've got, you've hit this level of that you were desperate to hit in terms of that, like financial security and being in the job that you want to be in and all those things. And when things like really take off for you is when you master this, I think.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm like, oh, I went on all these planes this year. I faced these panic attacks. I'm like, this is like, bring it on. I got this. I'm so
Hmm.
confident. But then we talk about me like opening up to intimacy and dating, and I'm like, I can't do it. It's too hard. So clearly
Yeah,
that's
it's
an
really
issue.
funny. When you started talking about your 2026, I completely zoned out.
Okay.
Like,
Was it that boring?
I know I'm such a good friend. No, but I was just kind of checking in, being like, why am I having such a hard time paying attention to this?
Mm,
Like it was just, but in my body, it was just kind of like, no, no, no. Like it's not, it wasn't, it was a very surface level answer.
okay. I mean, I feel like that is an important thing for me this year. But yeah, it's not the
100%.
depths of like the quality I need to embody or like, the things I need to move through this
Yeah.
year.
Yeah. Again, like that's not a criticism at all. It was just, I was just checking in with like, why am I not engaged right now?
Yeah.
And it's like, and then all of this came through and I went, oh yeah, that's why. Because like, this is what we really needed to talk about your
Yeah.
year.
I mean, and this is what my therapist said too. She was like,
Yeah.
now I think it's really time that we start digging into relationship and love because you deserve a partner who can really meet you. And we've got to move through some stuff so you can find that.
Yeah.
And yeah, I was like, okay. No, I do desperately want that. I do.
No, for
I just
sure.
have
I just
not
think
engaged with it. I
this is
mean, I've
going to be the
been,
year of you. I don't think
yeah,
it's the year of like meeting somebody
yeah,
and getting into something serious. We'll see, but I get the feeling that it's not that.
yeah. Yeah, there's an idea in my head of whenever I actually think about settling down, that's like, but like that's afraid that there's something that I haven't gotten to in time,
Yeah.
you know?
That's the exact feeling that I have right now. That I'm like,
Yeah.
no, there's something in the way. Like it's not the right next step. It's energetically, I can just feel that it's
It's
not.
like if I'm stuck with this person forever, then I'm never gonna get to explore this certain thing about my, or
Mm-hmm.
like I'm never gonna get to learn this lesson, or like there's a,
Mm-hmm.
which I
Yeah.
guess, yeah, is
Yeah.
telling that there's a little
Yeah.
more. But
Yeah.
anyway,
Exciting.
yeah,
That's so exciting.
yeah.
Ooh,
Ooh.
I can't wait. We'll be talking about maybe this podcast goes in a little bit of a different direction. Well, it's not really that different of a direction. We've already talked about yoni massages and
True.
sex and all kinds of things. I'm like, I can't wait to like get into your reclamation, share it with the world,
Oh my God, that makes me want to throw
empower.
up. I like have to sing right now because I can't be with the feelings about that. I have to talk about it. Are you joking? What if my
Yes.
family hears? It's like
You got to empower the people, girlfriend. You got to empower the people. I think that's a really fucking cool thing to move through and share. And I know you're going to do that in your own time. You don't have to do it in anybody's time. But I think I like in terms of you having that big impact that you were talking about at the beginning of the episode, like that's massive.
It's got to be free to do that.
Yeah. I'm in the same place. Like I haven't caught you up fully. This is where the scream comes in. But I know that I'm about to talk about some things that I don't want to talk about on here that are just too hard to touch, too scary to touch. But I know that it's going to be helpful to people. And it's that same topic, it's always whatever I'm seeing in you, I see in myself.
Yeah,
Like I wouldn't be seeing it in you if I didn't also have to do it.
right.
So I think actually that's a really beautiful thing for us to go through together and be supportive of together and also share it so that everyone else gets to have that support.
Hmm.
It's the point of this pod,
Yep.
and it's so much of our purpose of our life mission separately is that, I think.
Yeah.
So on that note, love you
Love you.
and
Happy
love
New
all
Year,
of our
everyone.
10 listeners. Yeah. Just kidding.
Thanks so much, guys.
Thank you so much for
Love you.
watching. Love it. I mean, watching, listening, love you. You said love you while I said listening, and I said love it. It's not the clean break that I was hoping for. Should we try that
Yes.
again? Love you guys. Love you,
Love you.
Megan.
Bye.
Bye.